Hi, am I on now? Okay, I hope so. I'm going to check in a second. Hello, thank you for waiting if you were confused. um, yeah, so loves, Mercury. Oof, still playing with us a little bit, huh? This is week 5, and this is one of my favorite weeks. But before we get into that, I just want to assure you that if you're feeling behind or you can't keep up, remember you have this forever. And this is just the process. This process is more about you getting your voice out there for the first time. It's about learning the skills. It takes time. It took me 2 years to learn everything on my own, figure out which was the best way, try a bunch of really crummy ways, and then get back to what really works. And then it took me 2 more years to kind of get up the gumption to actually do it. So there's so many processes involved with all of this, and that's part of the problem. Not the problem, the struggle, the challenge is as soon as you start this process, and the process is what? It's designing a course, but it's also putting your voice out into the world. And so as we start to do that, which could be the first time you've ever done that, the first time in your whole feminine history of your family, the first person that you know who's an entrepreneur who speaks out into the public world. This is big stuff. So if your junk, if your issues, if some struggles and challenges don't come up, you ain't doing it right. So it's a process of up-leveling, right? And it's a process of speaking out. And then it's a process of learning and also teaching. And so, we don't really learn until we do it. And that's the problem with this. So many of us at this point in our lives are experts in something. We're really good at what we do, and that's why we want to teach it. And here we are, beginners again, feeling silly, feeling like we don't really get it, feeling like it's too much and overwhelming, and there's just too many moving pieces. Please, please, please be patient with yourself. If you didn't see the video I put out yesterday, it was just a little message about how I do the beginning of the year. The truth is, my parents were both teachers, and my birthday is in September. So for me, that's really the beginning. But as far as this new year, I long ago adopted the lunar calendar, which begins in a few weeks. When we're younger and we have children around, or when we are really into Christmas or New Year's, Hanukkah, all of the holidays, it takes a lot of energy, right? And it also takes the focus off of us. That's part of what's so fun about it. We get to celebrate our families. We get to buy presents for everybody. We go out, we have dinners, we maybe indulge a little bit more. But this is not the perfect place to create your course from. We're going to talk today about what it takes to draw in the tribe, to gather your tribe. And I promise you, your tribe already exists. Your tribe is here. They've been waiting for you. I've seen it again and again. It's not a maybe. If you are called strongly to this work, you have a group of women and men or men who are just waiting for you to speak. Let's take that in a little bit. Everyone in the world today is hungry for connection. And women in particular, I'm going to talk so much more about this today because something fun and juicy happened last night. And so I'm just on fire with it. Women in particular are looking to commune. There is nothing more powerful in the world than a circle of women who have each other's backs. Nothing. So today we're talking about gathering your tribe. This is a process of being as much you as you can be, of really letting your brand, meaning how you appear to the world, stand out in a unique way, which just means being more and more you. It's so amazing. The more you are, the more you do things that you care about, that you're passionate about, the more you'll be in the right place with the right people. I'm just going to switch over here because I don't have, hi, you see me, good. And the sound is good. I don't have my headset, so I might not be projecting as much as I should be. I wanted to tell you guys, actually it doesn't look too bad, does it? But this is a little lesson in, so I'm house sitting, a little aside. I'm in a different room yet again. And I was set up in the front room because it's very cloudy and rainy here. I just love it. But I wanted that natural light. You know how much I love the natural light. Well, this is not natural light. These are not only electric lights, they're, what do you call that? Fluorescent lights. So see how I look kind of blue and green and shiny, and my eyes are kind of, I don't know, funny looking. That's why I like natural light. That's it. So I'm in here with the dog. He's under the desk wondering what I'm doing back here in this little corner. But yeah, and so anyway, you just got to be flexible. What happened was the daughter came home from Asia right in the middle of setting up. And I was like, oh, that's not going to work. I was in the living room. So here I am with you all. Great. Let's see. Sounds good. All right. Okay, so let's take our seats. I want you to tune into yourself. This course here on the 5th week, if we use the marketing terms, it's all about marketing. The difference between marketing and sales is that marketing is letting people know about you and bringing your tribe in and many other things, but that's enough for now. And then sales is actually selling something to someone. So they're slightly different processes that are so intertwined. And if you do it right, if you do this part right, you won't have to work on sales much. You'll just offer. People will ask and then you'll offer, right? So that's what I'm hoping for you. That's what I'm teaching you how to do. Take each step and play with it. Realize that you're not going to get it perfect the first time, so just begin. So many things. I did many classes that you don't even know about. So what I'm saying is they totally failed. And it wasn't the right thing, but it's not about selling a bunch of classes right away. And I want you to just remember that. It's about figuring out where you fit and what people want and serving that need. And where you fit is where your heart is most aligned. What suits your purpose, which is your dharma. And I believe that it's a wide purpose, so you can do many different things. Let me use myself as an example. So I, for many years, did body work, as you know, and I worked with athletes. I worked on what I would call human performance, helping people increase their performance by fine-tuning the body and really looking for those places where we're not in alignment. So if this seems very different what I'm doing now, it's not. It's not different at all. It's like I don't get to put my hands on you and be silent, which is the hard part for me because I love this silent communion. That's why I do video, because it's the closest thing to actually being with you. And so there I was I had this call to help women realize they are empowered, to help them realize that place in them that is empowered and empowering and could bring them everything that they yearn for. But I didn't know how to do it. So I looked at all my gifts. And I looked at all the things I'd been trained in. Now, one of the things I'd been trained in, business, was not my favorite thing. I've realized since then it was really the corporate world, which is all set up around patriarchal ideas and hierarchy, and it's not a very creative place, as you might know. That was the part I didn't like. But if these tools can help you, and I can serve in any way, then that's where I'm going to go. And that's how it happened. And that's how I got here. And that's why it really fills my heart. So think about that. You have these tools that you help people with. And this is the sticking point, because people want to sell their tools. If I said, I am going to help you find the sticky places in yourself that keeps you from speaking out, and I am going to teach you how to do that in person, out loud, online, you guys would go running for the hills. That sounds terrible, doesn't it? And we're going to look for all that ugly stuff, so it'll come up and out, and you'll go through all kinds of ups and downs, backs and forths, etc. Ugh. Just saying it kind of makes me go, ooh, and sit back in my chair. So instead, I noticed that people and the women that I love were wondering about how to do online courses, how to make a living with what they know. I was wanting to encourage them because I could see that this is the time. The healers, the artists, the coaches, the women with a deep spiritual base who have learned for years how to hold space, who have learned how to be present, have learned how to speak to another human and help draw out their truth. These are what is needed in the world. This is what people are even talking about in marketing circles. Unbelievable. I know thousands of women like that, and you're one. So the biggest challenge I have, I think there are two. One is just convincing you that you are enough, that what you know and do is enough now. You don't have to be different or be better to go ahead. And second is just to get you started. Because lots of us are perfectionists, and of course, when we want to put our voice out in the world, we want it to be as perfect as possible. But here's what I want you to do. Here's what I see after 2 years of teaching this course is really more important. And that is something I call, there are certain different names for different aspects, but it's your radiance, it's your truth, and it's getting to yes. It's something I call getting to yes. So if you have done the work up to now to find your truth, to find your gifts, you're starting to work with, what do people desire? That's today's topic, right? What does your tribe want? What will they pay you to learn? And it's just about that. And then you use all of your gifts. So you don't have to worry that not selling your gifts or your tools is going to be somehow difficult or a letdown, because everything you've ever learned will come into play, and more. You should still be learning too. New tools, new ways of doing. So let me talk about these. Okay, so that's your truth. That's your dharma. That's standing in who you are, what you know. And then you cultivate radiance. So this is the feminine way of marketing. So that when you're, for example, doing a live webinar like this, and you're shining and glowing and impassioned and forget all about the camera, and you inspire people with your truth, you become radiant. And it pretty much doesn't matter what you're selling at that point. People are like, I want that. That's happened to me more than once with my teachers. I want to be what she is. Whatever she's having, I want that. So in this course, we teach you to use your voice, to step out a little bit and to share and to serve. And that's how you get to this kind of glowing, oh my gosh, no matter what else is going on in my life, when I connect with you and serve your purpose, I'm so fulfilled. So fulfilled. In a way I didn't even know was possible. Have you ever had really good sex? Not the sex itself, but like how you feel afterward. The colors are clearer. Each cell in your body vibrates and is excited and ready to go. There's nothing more you need to be. There's nowhere else you want to be. That's this feeling of standing in this place, and it radiates. And then you just build the tools so that you can leverage that radiance into connecting and building a relationship. Remember, you connect, you opt in, they opt in. You serve and build a relationship, and then you deepen it. I'm going to say that again. You connect, you find ways to connect, meet new people. You make sure they opt in, because otherwise, you know, on the online world, it's, you know, they're gone. And you serve and deepen it. And then, you know, you sell them a product, which is really what I mean when I say you deepen it. Okay? So what is this getting to yes? I'm going to tell you a little story. First, I'm going to just make sure everybody's here. They're with me. Okay, cool. All right, so here's a little story. Some of you know this. A couple of you know this. But I have recently been chosen, this is so exciting, to be part of a new initiative. My speaking coach, Casey Baker, is starting something called Women Speak and Girls Speak. And it's kind of like Toastmasters, but it's just for women. And it's going to be all over the world. We already have coaches in many countries. And it's a curriculum. So you go through a 6-month curriculum learning how to do public speaking. And some people come because they're interested in doing a TED Talk. Some women come because they just want to speak up in their relationships. It's really powerful work. Casey's been doing this work for a long time, and now she wants to spread it around the world. The cool thing is all of the initiation fee goes then to Girls Speak, so that girls can go through the program for free. It just overwhelms me. I don't even know everything about it yet. I'm starting my circle in February. It's a local group, so I'll be meeting with real people. I love that. Get me offline a little bit. And last night, in conjunction with this, Casey lives in San Francisco. She had a group of women over because this month she's going to present this work in the UN in Geneva. So a group of women from the UN in Geneva are going to learn how to better deal with the males in the room when they're at a board meeting or whatever it is that people do. It's very complicated because it's not only men and women, but it's many different cultures. And so many different cultures that have different ideas about women. And so we got together to help her practice what she's going to teach. And we're going back again tomorrow night, and some men are going to join us, and we're going to practice these tools. Super cool. I'll share more with you. But the reason I share that story is that when I say you're getting to yes, all of the tools you're developing, all of the stuff you're getting out of the way, maybe some old issues have come up, our fear around being out in public, my fear around being responsible to my business, being responsible to anything or anyone, right? That's my big one. That if I create something, it's going to weigh me down. You know, my dad's always taught, well, he didn't teach me this exactly, but he always modeled that your business is a heavy responsibility and that it's hard work. You have to work hard. Very Midwestern things. So all of these things move through. You start to get the skills, you start to up level. And as you can see, you know, I'm up leveling too. I mean, 2 years into this work, I didn't know how to get across the points that I needed to in the best way. So I'm still improving what I do. You guys are helping me. And, but I came to a certain place in this work and in my life where when Casey said, who wants to do this? Who would like to apply to be one of the first women speak teachers or leaders? I said yes. Now that's huge. I had an idea I'd be moving back to California, and there's a 6-month commitment. You have to do it for at least 6 months. I didn't know where I was going to live. I didn't know what city I could start this in that would be successful. It's going to take some time. You meet twice a month. And so how did I do that? I mean, I got the email, put in my qualifications and bio, and sent it back immediately. It's because this is what happens when you prepare. And so everything you're doing is to prepare you, not to prepare the details online, not to prepare the most perfect website, not to prepare the most amazing curriculum. It's to prepare you to say yes. And first you say yes to your course, and yes to an email service provider, and yes to, I guess this opt-in will do for now. Every day you say yes and no to many things. So there again, last week or the week before when Casey said, who wants to come to San Francisco? Now my life has been a little intense the last few weeks, moving and trying to figure out where to stay, trying to set up a place to do my women's speak training. And she said, you know, 2 weekends. Well, it's been raining cats and dogs here, driving into the city. I left 3 hours before I was to be there, and it's 29 miles away. That's just how it is in the Bay Area at rush hour. But I said yes. I was getting ready to say yes for years. I have been getting ready to be able to say yes to the things that align with what I do. So Women's Voices is, you know, I've been doing video training. So that's just a little story to show you that you are developing your radiance, you're developing your skills, and you're getting to yes. And you only do that by finding your truth and standing there. And then serving. How does what I stand for serve somebody in a way that I could sell it? And that's the little piece that people get janky about. And I get it. And you see people doing the most esoteric things and getting paid for it. But they didn't start out by just jumping in with, you know, most of the people who do something very esoteric start with small groups in their living room and build from there. So, okay. That was kind of a roll, but I'm excited. Make sure and put any comments or questions. Hi, Heidi. Who else is watching? We're starting to get back a bigger group because we're finally through the holiday. That's how you get ready. That's what we're talking about when we are talking about radiance and truth. And then you have to find a way to show that off. And this part's hard. I get it. I mean, right? So for me, the easiest way to do that, the most easeful way to do that, is to create events, to create fun things that people want to join. And we can brainstorm about this. Please, if you're wondering how to attract your tribe, please post on the page and we'll help you with it. Now, happily, we have a lovely woman named Natalie who actually did that. Hold on, I'm going to delete my post that says, yikes, here I come. Karina says, what happened? She probably didn't even know there was a call happening right now. Okay, so here's the thing. Like, we talk about opt-ins, and we're mostly talking about what to put on your website, right? There should be an opt-in there. But opt-ins are everything. And I love what Natalie posted, and I didn't really respond to it because I knew I was going to be talking about it today. That's one of the reasons. The other reason is December 28th. Yeah, I was just going into my New Year sort of, me time, and I wasn't answering much of anything over the New Year. So Natalie wrote down, I feel like I need different opt-ins for different courses. What do you think? How to be intuitive, affirmations to heal your relationships, 7-day challenge to understand your soul agreements. Yes, 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 and yes. So first of all, Natalie, I would say start with one course. I know you've got all these courses. That might be a good survey question, is to ask people, what course do you want me to start with? What area are you struggling in? Of course, relationships is always a great place. People do like how to be, right? So those might be good places to start. I love your soul agreements and your understanding spiritual entities. I would say on those two, so pardon me for a second, ladies, while I just address her specifically. On those two, you might want to start with an opt-in to what is a soul agreement? I might still not be clear, and I've listened to a few of your things around it. So yeah, so that's where I'd start with that. But otherwise, absolutely, you need an opt-in all the time. I make a new opt-in whenever I'm giving an interview. I make an opt-in, well, yesterday when I sent out the 5-day practice, I did not do an opt-in this time because I'm going to send it to my whole list. And fewer people will open it, but you make smaller opt-ins for your bigger list all the time. I don't know if you've noticed that before, but even the big guys, they'll say, hey, I'm doing this thing. Do you want to see it? Opt in. Even though I'm already opt-in, they don't want to be blasting their whole list. They want the subset of people who are really interested in what they're doing in that moment. Does that make sense? So yes, you will have all those opt-ins. On your website, you might customize it. I think in my list of opt-ins, I showed you Julie Daly's page, which is Unabashedly Female. That's pinned on the Elegant Online Courses page if you want to see what I'm talking about. And right now on her page, she usually has, let me think she usually has kind of Julie's an amazing writer. So people opt in because they want to get her writings every week. And I think usually she just has a basic, join my email list. But she does it with the hello bar, which I really like. It's a different colored bar that shows up above. And but right now she's selling a course. She's promoting a course. So her usual opt-in at the top is changed. And then she'll do an event. And if it was me, I would host a live workshop. You see what I mean? So it all builds toward growing your list and selling your next product. So there's a kind of momentum, and we're going to talk about momentum in two different ways. It's the reason the video I put out yesterday was about don't necessarily feel bad if your planning for the year is not going well this week. First of all, Mercury is in retrograde. Secondly, you just got off a crazy party connecting with other people time, which is great, but it's not, you need to connect with you. Sometimes my clients will say, hey, can you read this something I wrote? Or, you know, check this out, it's really great. And I'll have to say, I'm in creative mode and I have to stay tuned to my own voice. So the momentum for creating the new year starts now in my book. All that's past us. It's kind of an empty month as far as things go. Many places it's cold and rainy and snowy and all that. And so you can really focus and get back to you. So now is a good time. The way we create momentum in physical training is we, you know, clean the body. Don't make it a, you know, I wouldn't go on necessarily a big cleanse right now unless that's where you're at. It's too cold in most places in the Northern Hemisphere right now. But, you know, start doing some positive things. Put that green drink back in. Do a little yoga. Get back to your body. These are all ways that we come into our own truth and our own voice, right? Practice singing in the shower. Do some mantras. Do the things that you love, that make you happy. Get out and go, you know, play in the snow. Whatever brings you back to you. Okay, so there's momentum in one way. And then when we're getting ready to do a course, we do momentum in another way. And as far as I can tell, it's absolutely necessary. I offered I have 2 courses now that are evergreen. Sorry, sometimes the words don't come right away. And I just put them out there and I sold nothing. And then I said, hey, you guys, meaning this smaller group, I wasn't expecting to sell anything. I know that doesn't work. There's too much noise, right? So this smaller group, I offered it and said, you can have a sale. And I sold some. So that's one way of doing it. But really, if you create an event, make a party. If your course has interviews in it, give a free interview before. If your course has meditations in it, hold a meditation afternoon. Do something to create excitement and make it a reflection of what you're going to be doing for your course. You see what I mean? We'll go more into that when we talk about actually selling the course, which is next week. But it's something that can bring attention. You want to be serving every week. It doesn't matter if your email goes out and doesn't get opened. I know I have a lot of people in my email box. Casey Baker was one of them. I kept her in my email box because whenever I needed something about speaking, there she was. And then look what happened. She offered this to her email list. So stay in touch with those people and know that people are staying in touch with you for a certain reason. Then ask them again, you know, you're still on my email list. You haven't opened it in a long time. You can do a survey that way. You know, tell me, why do you stay on my email list? Would you like to unsubscribe now? Would you like to go deeper? You really have to engage. And it's always the new people, the engaged people, the people that have just checked in, who are brought along on the little boat of your momentum, who sign up. Okay, so I'm gonna go over here and look for questions. Any questions about what I'm talking about? I'm just checking my list. I kind of went off list a little bit because I'm so excited about what's going on right now. Tools, yeah, okay, cool. No questions, good. Okay, so tools for connecting with your tribe. I'm adding 2 things. And these are so important. I'm going to be doing separate little teaching videos about it because they were not in my course before. And it's time to bring them back. I don't know about you, but if you've been working online for a little while and you don't work with live people, you might be craving it. I am. Now, I'm a body-based person, naturally. That's why I started with massage. So being in people's company, communing in that way, touching, those are things that feed me. And so I'm going to do a little version of my Elegant Online courses live this year. And it'll be sort of introductory because I want as many people as possible, as many women as possible, to get online soon, to build a tribe, to use Facebook ads, because, you know, one day Facebook ads will be much more expensive. This is a good time. We're at that beginning stage. It's such a perfect time for you to jump in. If we had jumped in 2007 and 8 and sold online like some of our teachers have, we would have huge followings by now. It doesn't work the same as it used to, but definitely think about adding live groups, meeting with people, explaining what you do. Then they can go home and receive your gifts or your courses there. So even people in this city, especially this city, I'm in Palo Alto, California. I'm going to be here for about 6 months, so I'm excited about that. That is very near Silicon Valley, if you don't know. It pretty much is Silicon Valley. I think Facebook, Google, AOL, I don't know how many other places have a Palo Alto address, Santa Clara, a few other towns around. So people are busy. And they want to meet you and they want to connect and they want to come to an event, but then they want to learn on their own, in their own home. So you see how you could combine those two things. And that's really fun. And it's another way to draw your tribe in. And as Facebook is not as responsive, and of course, Instagram, Twitter, you should all be using the ones that work best for you. I'll say once again, my Facebook is like connected to my Twitter. I don't use Twitter really, but they go out. I think Natalie does that too. They go out automatically so that I have a presence both places. I don't use Instagram. I probably should. Artists definitely should. People like Karina, who have all these beautiful pictures, definitely should. There are some other things you should be using if you work with young people, because they don't use these anymore. I said 2 new things, but there really is 3. The second is live video. You should be doing Facebook Live. I don't know if you've noticed, but when anybody does a live video right now of your friends, they show up in your feed. Why is that? It's because Facebook is really focused on it right now. They have ads. There was a kiosk in the San Francisco square I was in promoting Facebook Live. It said, if you see somebody walking something besides a dog, go live and show us. You know, a cat, I don't know, an armadillo. What do people walk? So that's 2. Okay, so we're going to practice. We're going to have a whole module or a whole teaching video on how to do live. 3 is groups. Now, here's something interesting. You notice how your page isn't as responsive as before, even your personal page. Creating momentum. When people start interacting with what you post, then they'll see more of what you post. The last viral thing I posted was a picture of me and my daddy. Craziness, I know. And I don't want you to use this necessarily because it's kind of feels icky. Like, I didn't post that picture of me and my dad so that it would go viral. But once that happens, more people will see your posts. Do you know that? You should know that. So after something big happens, then you want to keep sharing because more people will be seeing. They've just interacted with you. And that's how the algorithm works, right? So the third thing is groups. Because your pages aren't as interactive as they used to be, a lot of people are saying we should do some other things, and that's like live video or Periscope, maybe. That's the same as live Facebook. And we bring them over and then we put them in a group. So what I'm starting to do, and what I suggest that you start to do, is to have a group for your serving and your marketing as well. So that means instead of selling somebody something and making a group part of it, which is what I do, and I will always keep that sacred, You have to be in my course to get into this group that you're in right now. But I also have a Women's Dharma group. And that started out with a free 7-day video challenge. And there's other things that I'll be sharing all year in there. And so people get to know me there. And when it's time to share my courses, they'll see those too. Does that make sense? I think you guys know what I mean, right? So I'm sorry, I'm laughing because Natalie said I saw someone walking a goat on a leash once. You should have taken a live video. Do I mean public speaking workshop event for live group? Okay, question, Natalie, what do you mean? Do you mean public speaking workshop event for live group? I'm talking about a Facebook group. I think that's what you mean. Go ahead and qualify that question and I'll see what you mean by that. I'm going to go back over here and just check my notes again too. So those are 3 new things that I think we should all be using to draw in our tribe. Live video. I know, if you can't even do a recorded video, how are you going to do a live video? So do a recorded video. That's actually still really popular too. Really promoted more than other kinds of posts, as long as you post it directly to Facebook instead of posting it to YouTube first. But I do also recommend that you put it on your YouTube channel if you're sharing anything like that. And then groups, Facebook groups, and in-person groups. Don't forget the old-fashioned way. Get some cards made, hand them out, get people to join your list from connecting with them live. And anytime you do anything, make sure you get everybody's email address and make sure it says, you know, hey, put your name down here so I can keep in touch with you and offer you more great things. So let me give you an example of that. If I did a group where I'm teaching people, basically it'd be like my 3-part video series, right? So if I met with a group of people here, group of women who have some kind of skills, say it's a group of massage therapists, I know a bunch of them in this area, I would teach them how to go online. I would teach them the things they can do, which gives them an online presence, right? For massage therapists, I often say they should have, and anybody who meets with private clients, I know Heidi and Natalie, you both do. So you should have things that you share with them online. For example, from my kind of body work, there are some specific things people should do. They don't need to be naked, but I need them with some kind of soft, loose clothing on. I probably don't want them to eat right before they come. There's other things that I can prepare them with. So I share a video with them online. Okay, video, audio, even just a PDF, right? But video's better. You're connecting with them. So here's a new client that you're connecting with before you even do anything. Then after the face-to-face, the massage, in my case, the session in your case, you send them some more. So there's many things. And I could even, you know, it's funny, I teach this, but I don't have it set up for myself. So in my work, there could be a 3-part follow-up, 3 different videos that they get sent the next day to remind them, you know, this is how you might feel. The next week to remind them to follow up with some of the stretches and exercises I told them, and maybe the week after that, and then you can invite them to make another session. So if I did a group around Elegant Online Courses, I would promise them something more, probably my resource list, and maybe a live follow-up. And so they'd put their email addresses down, and now they're on my list. You see what I mean? Yeah. Okay, let's see. Oh, okay, so Natalie says, where you suggested getting back out to have face-to-face engagements, do you mean public speaking, workshops, or an event for a live group? Yeah, any of that. Just remember that, and maybe you have always remembered this, but I'm emphasizing it now, that if you've shifted to online like I did, and a big part of your day is spent creating online things, interacting online, make sure to keep connecting with people in person. It's a great way to build your list. And it's very compelling. A few of the women last night were just friends of someone who knew Casey. And I bet a bunch of them are going to sign up for her things now, her trainings online, because she's so compelling and such an amazing person. So, yeah, the old kind of sales. All right. I ran out of tea. Once again, I know I repeat myself a lot, but I would recommend when you have to speak like this for any amount of time to have some black tea with lemon. Both of those things are really good for your vocal cords. I usually also have a little lozenge of some kind, which helps. I think I got a little excited, so my voice is feeling a little scratchy. All right. So back to how we do this. The technical parts of it, right? You set up an opt-in so that you're ready when anybody, like if you give out your business card and you're sending them somewhere, you can send them to a page that offers them something, or you can send them to your website. I like landing pages. You know I do. Sending someone to your website is great if it's very good at converting them and getting them to take action. You can make your whole website a landing page, like I do. Mine's a moving landing page. And I do, like oftentimes elegantonlinecourses.com goes straight to a landing page. If you try it right now, it'll probably go to an old landing page. Okay, so yeah, I just lost my train of thought. Talking about radiance, talking about bringing, oh yeah, the tools. Okay, tools. So you have to have the opt-in done. You have to have thought out how you're going to follow up. You don't want somebody to just opt in and then for it to be like an echo chamber. I'm working right now, and 2 years in, I'm working on my first my first totally automated sort of ramping course. So if someone is a new client to me for the first time, and the reason it's the first time is I didn't have my head around what were the most important pieces. If someone opts in with me, they will learn how to get started. They will get a series of emails teaching them something. It'll probably change over time because I love doing that. And they will also get my weekly musings. But so this is one way to really indoctrinate somebody into your program, to give them something like that right when they first opt in. But make sure it's not just crickets. Make sure that they really get a feel for who you are, because that moment when they opt in is when they're most engaged. Okay. Then you just serve, and day in, day out, you're learning, you're following your intuition. For me, I interview people. I just interviewed somebody about curriculum. That was fascinating. The big takeaway, as I mentioned to you, I think I mentioned it before on the recording that wasn't working. So the big takeaway was that we're doing it right. That having an experience is how people works. They know now scientifically that you cannot sit and listen to me right here and learn it. You have to go do it. Haha. You can get inspired. You can hear it and sort of ingest it, but to really know it, you have to try it. Okay. So so I like to interview people, and that's how I serve. How do you serve? What do you do day in and day out that you could offer somebody? Like I like to say, Marsha Wade, not only does she study the stars and gives so much on her regular page that I said, look, you're doing all this studying, you might as well have a membership. So now people pay her for what she offers every month, and they stick around. It's pretty exciting. So what do you do? What do you love to do that could also serve someone else? Because if you're just thinking about serving and you don't love doing it, it'll burn you out after a while. So try some stuff. Yeah? And then you deepen it, and that'll be next week. We'll talk about how to take that raving fan base, the tribe that's like, oh my gosh, we love you. How can we have more of you? You guys know your clients want more of you. That's all this is about. It's the reason I use Google Hangouts instead of Zoom. It's the reason I give you the best, most robust solutions, because I want you to be teaching hundreds of people, not just a little handful. You can start with a little handful and start with using Zoom and some of these tools that are more limited in the audience. But where are you going to go from there? What's the next step? How easy is it going to be for you to scale? That's what I'm doing this year in my course. In my courses, I'm scaling. I'm getting to the essence of what people need to know, and I want to reach more people. So you guys going to learn from what I learn. All right. Okay, I see no more questions. I think we're just about done. So don't forget, these tools that I'm talking about just facilitate something that you've created in your heart and soul. Some radiance, because you're living in the center of your truth. It's the feminine way of doing it. It's what is attractive to people now. It's our coming out time, ladies. It really is. It's pretty amazing. Did I tell you at the UN they have something called the Gender Guardians? They're men who are totally dedicated to helping women's voices get out in the world, because they realize that if we don't do things in a different way, which means in a more loving way, in a more feminine way, separate from this patriarchal, oil-based raping of the earth, that we won't survive. And they believe that with everything in their hearts. So they have a group of men called the Gender Guardians. And I'll learn more about that and I'll let you know. And that's at the UN in Geneva. It's our time. All right. More blessings to you. I'll see you guys soon, and just keep working at it.